Welcome back to the Bliss Kiss Gold Standard Challenge to Longer, Stronger Nails for Life. Congratulations! We made it to day 7. Okay, so we're going to be talking about nail health issues and troubleshooting some of those common things. What I need to first say is that I am not a doctor and I can't make a diagnosis, but I can show you what I do know and help you navigate whether it's something that's really important and you should go to the doctor, or whether it's something that's just normal, it happens kind of a situation. All right, so we know we don't go to the doctor for ridges. Ridges are one of those things that happen as we get older. And remember, I've shown you in previous days that it's really not the ridges that are the problem, it's the grooves in between the ridges, just like this photograph shows. It's those areas that we need to fill up with a ridge filling base coat. So we don't want to buff, we want to use that ridge filling base coat. Remember, rock those ridges, right? So what is the best ridge filling base coat? Again, I'm going to say everybody's different, but I did do an article over on nailcarehq.com, which I will continually work on updating as possible. And so remember, you're different. You may or may not get the same results that I did while I did these tests. All right, this is a really important one. Damage from acrylic or gel application or removal. Here's the key thing, application or removal. Notice it's not the product. The product chemistry these days is so good that it's not the product that does the damage. It's the way it's applied and the way it's removed. And actually, removal can be very, very dangerous. So when this happens and you want to move away from the damage that's happened from a poorly trained nail professional, or if you've even tried to do it at home and you've messed up your own nails, now it's time to get into that. Remember those seasons? You're in winter, now you're moving into spring. It's important to remember to hydrate 2 times a day or more. Do mini hydration treatments, because you're going to be looking at about 4 months of letting those thinned out nail plates, because it's the nail tech who did it. It's all of that extra buffing and filing that was done that has damaged your nails. Also remember, you got used to a thicker product on your nail plate. You got used to your nails feeling thicker. So a lot of people, they'll say, oh my gosh, it damaged my nails so much. Well, yes, maybe. You also got used to having very thick nails, and that feels different. And so then when you take that off, now you're left with thin nails. Okay? So we really, really want to hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And remember, that ultimate nail care routine is going to save you if you are one of those people who is having to heal from the damage that was done by prepping your nail plate or the removal, improper removal of those products. Because a lot of times, if they're just pried off, they're going to take a whole bunch of your nail layers with it. Okay, let's look at vertical splitting, because that one is the clearest example of permanent damage to the nail matrix. And you can really see it well with this picture. Can you see back by her cuticle line, by Sue's cuticle line back there, where she's got there's a darker line that kind of goes right along with that. If you're looking at the free edge split and you just look and travel that all the way back, it goes all the way back to the cuticle line. Okay, so where it's splitting is the groove between the ridges right there. So this is just that perfect example of thin nail plate splits, peels more than the thicker layers. So if you've got something like this, unfortunately, I am very, very sorry to say, it's permanent. There's really nothing you can do about it. What we can do is fill in the splits with products. So this will help reduce the tearing that does happen. And you can use products like this one from Orly. Just realize that it is an acrylic product, and so it can make your nail tips too hard. So everything is a balance, and we're trying to figure out the right balance for you. So this product will make your nail tip too hard. So it might not split, but it might break. So just know that this is a liquid and a powder. It is an acrylic type of product. The next one is peeling. What do you do? I mean, we've all had nails that sort of start peeling and we're like, oh, I don't know why. It's usually from too much moisture. That's plain and simple. Remember the book analogy here. It's just overexposure to water or even solvents. And the way we treat that is with hydration. And we want to use our oil and our lotion stick and our nitrile gloves liberally. Okay, so delamination, that goes with the previous two slides of basically it's the fancy word for peeling. So what's our solutions? We want to rehydrate frequently, and you want to invest in really good quality products. You want to make sure that your oil is jojoba wax ester based and that it's the first ingredient, because that is most like body oil. You want to make sure that you soak off your polish. Don't scrape it, don't pick it, don't peel it. It's only going to take layers with it. If you need to, if your nails are constantly peeling, you might need to keep them shorter. Maybe that will help. Remember to wrap. Remember, wrap and cap. So wrap your base coat and top coat. You want to cap the edge, which is just sliding the brush right along the edge. You want to do that with all 5 layers. Okay? Always, again, wear gloves. You gotta wear gloves. And protect from the sun. As we all know, the sun can be damaging, so we need to be careful. Do not buff. You might need, if you've got a little bit of a some lifting layers, you might need to buff down just that tiny little spot. You don't want to touch any of the rest of your nail plate, okay? So we want to remove what's going to potentially catch in your hair and get made worse. But for the most part, we really need to seal that off with polish. Nail hardeners could be very helpful, or nail strengtheners. I actually prefer nail strengtheners because they are a polish resin-based product. And nail hardeners can make your nails too hard, whereas a strengthener works kind of like the way a corset does around a woman's waist. It's got ingredients to just sort of hold it tighter. They don't dry out and make your nail harder. Because remember, we need hardness and flexibility. Those combined to make strength. And then remember, sometimes allergies or psoriasis, you can actually get psoriasis in the nail plate. That can cause peeling as well. Okay, we all get them, we all hate them, hangnails. These are commonly confused with sidewall tears. So the difference is a sidewall tear actually starts at the sidewall and tears across this way. Whereas your hangnail is going to tear down along the side. And what we've got to remember is it doesn't hurt when you tear it down the side like that, but at some point it's going to hit live skin. And these are the kind of things that I like to pull at. So you can pull at them and end up in live skin. So it's very, very important to actually file those off. Don't grab them, don't pick at them, don't bite them. You don't want to do that. So let's look at nail problems and how we might be able to solve some of them. I am going to again say the disclaimer that I legally must say, that if you are concerned, you must go see your doctor. I'm not a medical professional, and this information is only meant to help you. It's not meant to give you a diagnosis. But I will say that you will get more truthful information here than you will on the internet. So A lot of these nail conditions can mean a serious health issue, but only your doctor can tell you that. I can't tell you that. And remember, we love you and we want you to be healthy. Onycholysis. That is the fancy word for whiteness from trauma or abuse to the nail plate. There's many things that can cause this, like over excessive filing, also using your nails as tools. If you use your nails as tools, like you can see in this photograph, how it sort of looks like that side, one side of her nail has actually pulled away from the nail bed. That can happen with upward force, and it causes the nail to lift away from the nail bed. And once that happens, they can't glue back together. But what you just have to do is wait for the nail plate to grow, continue to grow out, and then you will be able to trim that off. And it will seem like it reattached, but it didn't. It just continued growing out. And the rest of that pink part of the nail, what you see as pink, stays bonded to the nail bed, and that just continues on out. Also worrying at your nails, so continually rubbing like this, if you're one of those who does that, you can cause onycholysis. Also snagging your nails, so that kind of goes along with if there's upward pressure. Treatment. You can cut it short if it's a problem. You can leave it alone. That's usually what I do. And then the most important one, just wait. And I know it's really, really hard once we've noticed something wrong with our nails. It's like, oh, you almost become OCD about it and obsessive and compulsive. And it's just like, this is why I love nail polish, because you just cover up what's going on. And then as long as I don't have to look at it, my nails look gorgeous, it's all good. Okay, it's really, really important that we never, ever use a metal tool to scrape the underside of our nail plate. And here's why. Because the Hyponychium is actually one of the 4 guardian seals that you learned about. So what happens when we put pressure on the Hyponychium? It causes it to recede. And so this is what happens with people who bite their nails a lot, is that they're constantly pushing against that Hyponychium and damaging it actually. And so the body's response is to retreat. And so it starts to move that Hyponychium back, and then you actually do shorten your nail bed. So it's very, very important that we don't clean under our nails with any metal tool. Resist the urge to scrape dirt out. You want to use either a brush or rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip to get underneath there and clean out the dirt if you need it. And here's a video on how to properly clean the underside of your nails.
Hey everybody, it is Anna, and today I am going to talk about how to get the dirt from out of the underside of your nails. One of the things that I see people do is they'll take a sharp pointed tool like this, whether it's a nail file or this kind of a tool, and if they want to get the dirt out, they'll sit there and they'll scrape it and push and pull and try and get that out. What's this sharp point doing? You can't possibly scrape away all of the dirt without pushing on this skin right here, which is a guardian seal and very, very important. It keeps germs and bacteria from getting under and into the nail bed. So we don't want to actually take a sharp tool and scrape along, because, let me see if I can get the frame here right. If you're going to do that, you can't help but push on the Hyponychium, and you are going to make this part of your nail bed shorter. So definitely, this is a huge, huge, huge no. If I could break it in half, I would. This is a tool you want to throw away. So a couple of the things that I do. One, start with rubbing alcohol. I picked a pumper bottle and a Q-tip. And I use Q-tip brand cotton swabs because I am able to get under the nail but not hurt the Hyponychium here, because if you put too much pressure underneath here, you're actually going to help separate the nail plate from the nail bed, and your nail bed will appear shorter, which technically it will be because you've pushed too much here. So I like Q-tips and either water, or I think my favorite is rubbing alcohol. I've gotten that wet. You can also use acetone. And what I do is I get underneath there and just spin it, okay? And this is how I get the polish off when I've done the base coat and top coat wrap of the Fab 5 technique that I teach, which is 2 layers of base coat, 2 layers of which is 2 layers of base coat, 2 layers of color, and then another layer of quick dry top coat, all the way wrapped around to the underside. So in order to get that off, you're going to use acetone. But if I want to just clear away the little dust and stuff, dust and oil, take a look at how dirty that's gotten. Okay. And that's just, you know, you get oil under your nails to make them stronger. And then when we want to start a manicure, we've got to get rid of that oil, and it collects some dust. But anyway, and a lot of you talk about dirt settles down into these corners, and I get it too. So what I'll do is I'll take a makeup brush. You can use any makeup brush. This is just one that my girlfriend gave me. And you're going to get that wet with either acetone. I like acetone or rubbing alcohol for this part. And you're going to get under there with that brush and just push the dirt out towards the center. Okay, so just pull the skin away, get the brush just under there, push that towards the center, and you can do it on the underside as well. And just push that towards the center, and that gets rid of a lot of that dirt that's underneath. And if it's still bothering you, then you can use more of a pointed brush. Let me get that wet, and you can get under there with a little bit more bristles, but you want to be very, very gentle on this Hyponychium because you don't want to push it back at all. So that gets most of it, and then you're ready to start your new manicure.
Let's talk about Leukonecya. That is the fancy word for white spots. And any condition that causes the abnormal whitening of the nail plate is called Leukonecya. And so let's talk about the 3 expressions of it. You can have Leukonecya spots, and those are caused internally. So basically I call them nail bruises. So they're a large group of whitish nail cells that were trapped in the nail plate, generally caused by the injury of the nail matrix area. Remember when I talked about that? You banged your finger somewhere and it got hurt there, and you don't even see the bruise until 1 or 2 months later. So what happens is that nail cells are nice and round when they're being made, but then as they die, they flatten out and become transparent. So what happens is that when it's damaged like that, it doesn't turn transparent. And all you can do is just wait for it to grow out. They're no big deal. Pseudoleukonecya. This is caused by external things. It's usually caused by the nail plate being dried out too much. So this can be your acetone, your solvents, anything that strips the oils and the moisture from your nail plate can cause this kind of whitening. And so how do we treat it? With a penetrating nail oil, of course. All right, so this is the one. It's true Leukonecya. If you have it, you've probably already talked to your doctor about it. It's usually genetic or some sort of health-related thing, and it really makes it look like you painted your nails white. So that photograph is actually Leukonecya, not white nail polish. Okay, and so if this is starting to show up for you, it's very important to go see your doctor. This is one that people know what it is, but don't know what to call it, and it's a really funky name. It's called pterygium. You know, the PT like pterodactyl when we learned about dinosaurs, pterygium. And this is an abnormal wing-like growth of skin. Pterygium, the word just means overgrowth of skin. So we can have pterygium anywhere in our body. It has nothing to do with the cuticle or the hyponychium. It is living tissue. It can grow under or over the nail plate. And it's usually caused by an injury, but it can also be genetic. Let's talk about pterygium. It's an odd word, but pterygium is the abnormal wing-like growth of skin. It has nothing to do with the cuticle, and it has nothing to do with the hyponychium on the underside of your nail. It is living tissue. That's what makes it different also. It can grow over or under the nail plate, and it's usually caused by an injury. Some of these can be inherited, but it's usually caused by some sort of injury. So there's two different kinds. There's inverse pterygium and there's dorsal pterygium. So let's look at inverse. It's usually usually self-inflicted in some way, shape, or form. Damage from excessive cleaning underneath the nail plate. So this goes back to please don't ever use a metal tool underneath your nail plate. Slamming fingers in doors can cause this. And remember, this is the one that we're talking about on the underside. You can also have allergic reactions to formaldehyde-containing nail hardeners. And those look like liquid drops, not like a polish. Those are usually nail strengtheners. So the nail hardeners, since those are a liquid, they can get on your skin really easily. And so repeated applications of any type of monomer liquids or gels or primers on the skin or near the underside of the nail plate can cause the inverse pterygium. It's really important that we don't get any of our nail enhancement products on your skin. Dorsal pterygium is pterygium that happens on top of the nail plate. And this is a different kind of severe trauma, like having warts or burns or lichen planus and some blood circulation disorders. So for this type of pterygium, you definitely want to see your doctor. You probably already have, and you know about it. The treatment for these, in most cases, there really is no effective treatment that will make it go away. The condition, especially the dorsal one, reflects scarring destruction of the matrix such that the skin has overgrown that area where the nail should be located. So it's definitely something that you need to talk with your doctor about if you haven't already. Fungus and bacteria. Okay, I see these confused all of the time, so let's get some clarity on the differences between the two. So fungus, it's incredibly slow. It takes months and years for fungus to actually consume the nail plate. Don't confuse that with our previous discussion of onycholysis. That is whiteness caused from trauma or abuse to the nail, and it often appears suddenly. So they can have a similar color, but fungus happens slowly. It's impossible for it to just suddenly appear. So there are lots of different types of fungal infections. Fungus likes dark, warm, moist environments. Think sneakers. Fungus eats the keratin that makes up both the nail plate, unlike bacteria, which cannot do that. And fungus will also digest both the nail plate and the skin. That's another difference. These medications easily penetrate the skin, but can't penetrate the nail plate or get into the matrix. The nail plate is much denser and much more difficult to penetrate than the skin. This explains why the FDA forbids companies from claiming that non-prescription antifungal treatments can be used for the nail plate. Some companies try to avoid the FDA ruling and get away with selling bogus treatments by carefully instructing users to apply the product to the skin surrounding the nail plate. Don't be fooled. These products won't work for anyone with a true fungal infection. So when in doubt, go see your doctor. Okay, so a bacterial infection happens when large numbers of bacteria are trapped between a coating and your nail plate. Okay, so this doesn't happen inside or under your nail plate. This happens on top and then works its way down. So a nail enhancement will allow oil and moisture to build up and kind of gets trapped in there, and then bacteria feeds on that oil and water. So this is usually caused by improper cleaning and preparing before a dip or acrylic, even gel. It can, but rarely happens underneath nail polish. So it's usually these products that are longer term wear and they have trapped in the bacteria. So what do? You go see your doctor. Don't remove the stain by trying to file it. It's very important because also infections can grow under the nail plate. So you don't want to mess around with it. And also you don't want to wear any nail products until you have been cleared by your doctor, and no nail professional should be working on your nails if you have a bacterial infection. Always remember, call your doctor immediately if you have any redness, swelling, discharge, any of these kind of things that go, oh, this is not right. So let's look at the difference between bacteria and fungus. When we're looking at the symptoms, bacteria it grows quickly. It's pretty colors like green, blue, or purple. It stains the nail plate. It can get underneath the nail plate if the infection can get underneath the nail plate if the nail bed is exposed. So like if there's been some damage, you can get an infection underneath. And it's mostly seen in people who go to the salon or are doing DIY enhancements and they haven't gotten the full scope of the training that's necessary for that product. Now, on the other side, with fungus, it grows really slowly. It's commonly white or yellow, and that's because it's actually the nail color, because it's disintegrating. The fungus is eating the nail plate. It makes your nails feel thicker because they're starting to crumble. And for the most part, it's seen with people's feet because it likes nice, warm, dark environments, and that's where our feet are, not our hands. So it's also incredibly, incredibly difficult to treat, so you're going to need to work with your doctor. All right, in terms of what do we do now? So bacterial infection, you must let it grow out. There is nothing that you can do with the stain. Don't try and file it. You can actually spread the infection because it is in your nail plate. Don't try to do any do-it-yourself soaks to remove the staining. And don't use any enhancements, including nail polish. You don't want anything that's going to trap more of that bacteria in there. And you definitely want to avoid cross-contamination to other nails or your feet. Go see your doctor if you're experiencing any redness, swelling, discharge, pain. So what do we do with fungus? You do not want to wear any nail enhancements because, again, that's contributing to that dark environment that fungus likes. So, no polish until it's all taken care of. You want to avoid cross-contamination to your other nails or even your feet. This is very, very important. You must sterilize your clippers and your nail files. If, let's say, you have a fungus on your big toenail, you do not want to use the clippers and file that you use on that big toenail on any of the other nails because you will transfer it to your other nails. Avoid closed-toed shoes. If you are one of those who must wear closed-toed shoes, it's really important that you have 2 pairs of those shoes. You want to avoid closed-toed shoes if at all possible, and if you must wear shoes all the time, then you're definitely going to want to switch between 2 pairs. So wear 1 pair one day, give them a break, and wear the next pair the next day. And then if you're still having issues, or you know that you have a tendency, change your socks twice a day, because you don't want to create this nice, warm, dark, moist environment. If you are somebody who deals with a lot of sweating, also be sure to use the foot powders that help dry up the sweat. And when all else fails, go see your doctor. Bow's lines. Okay, so this is actually a groove or a depression in the nail plate, and these are caused when the matrix is forced to slow down the production of the new nail cells for some reason. A lot of times it's some severe trauma, stress that happens in your life. And so as long as this slowdown continues, the new nail plate growth will be thin. So the bottom of this groove develops because the nail matrix is making the least amount of nail cells and therefore creating the thinnest nail plate. As that cell production increases, the nail plate growth returns to its normal thickness. Beaded ridges. Most often, these are caused by circulatory issues in the nail matrix or other parts of the body. So if you find that your hands are cold a lot and you're experiencing beaded ridges, pay attention. Is it just the weather, or is it perhaps something else going on? I find that a lot of times I'll start to have some of these show up, especially on my thumbnails, when it's cold during the winter. But one of the ways to know of whether you're continuing to experience a problem is keep looking at the new growth. Is the new growth the same with the same problem, or is the new growth you see normal? Pitting. This is most often the sign of psoriasis of the nail plate, and it can look very different from person to person. For these people, their nail cells are not bonded together as well as for other people, and so little pieces of nail layers of the nail cells will break away, and that's what causes these little divots. So hydration can help reduce this. It can help sort of create this, the oil is like a sticky glue. So the hydration can help, but it's definitely worth a trip to your doctor to see if it's something where your doctor can help as well. And just remember, everything about our nails, it's all a cycle. We're in a continual state of change. Remember that your lifestyle dictates the optimal length for you. What is the right length? Okay, if your nails are too long for your lifestyle, you will risk a painful break. And the key for you is going to be, over the next several weeks and months, is to figure out what is that right length, especially if having longer nails is very new to you. The lure is to have them just get longer and longer and longer. But what happens is, as they get longer and longer, when they finally do break, it's going to be a big break. And so then all your other nails are going to be really long, and you'll have this one really short one. So it's far better to actually take it slow, learn how it works in your lifestyle, and get to the point where you know what is that sweet spot where you can just keep filing down a little bit, and you'll be able to keep them at that ideal length for you. Just remember all of those lifestyle considerations: stress, health, home, work, hobbies, all of those things. They all contribute to the success or breakage of your nails. Congratulations, you made it through 7 days. Thanks for participating in the Bliss Kiss Gold Standard Challenge for longer and stronger nails. If you have any questions or need more information, be sure to join us over on Facebook at the Blissette Nail Bar. You can find me also on Instagram at MyBlissKiss. You can find tons of videos over on youtube.com/BlissKiss. All of my articles are over at nailcarehq.com. And of course, Bliss Kiss products are available on our website at myblisskiss.com and then also on Amazon US at amazon.com.